I do not kiss tail and I do not worship people because of their ranking, their accomplishments, their money, any of those things. If you are chosen a triple threat, attractive, funny, talented, really good at what you do, and you're kind and you're actually a decent person, you will probably always have issues with your professional superiors. Especially as a woman, even though I do feel like women have made a lot of improvements in society in the modern world as far as like their professional lives, misogyny unfortunately is still a thing and it still affects us in the workplace. But ultimately, this could apply to both men and women, but especially if you're a woman, take heed. Because I feel like for men, they're kind of expected to be the boss. People expect a man to be in that boss role. But as a woman, for whatever reason, society, women and other men still struggle to have women above them in a professional setting, and other women are just naturally competitive. So it's like no matter how hardworking, diligent, talented you are as an employee, you could be the perfect employee, but those attributes that basically make you that perfect employee are the same attributes that are going to cause your management and your professional superiors to be intimidated by you and despise you in the end. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, your professional superiors can only feel content and confident around you if you suppress your true essence, if you basically make yourself lower than. Because honestly, a lot of them, no shade, but a lot of people you'll notice in these management positions, you start to wonder, like, how did you even get this job? And quite frankly, oftentimes it's because they kiss tail. And if you're somebody who doesn't kiss tail, you're gonna struggle, especially in these corporate places, but honestly anywhere. I noticed that my very first job in high school, I worked at Zaxby's. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm good at my job. I do what I'm supposed to do. I'm kind. I have great customer service. Why am I not being moved up? Like even back then I was like, why am I not being moved up? And I I came to the realizations because I'm not kissing tail. I'm not kissing the manager's tail. That's why. Mind you, I was always respectful, always kind, but I just don't kiss tail. You know what I mean? And honestly, when it comes to being a threat in the workplace, I understand now why some women will just play dumb. And I get it. It's like a protective mechanism, but I'm just way too spiritually awakened to play those type of games. And I wouldn't advise you to play those type of games because like I said, it's a real spiritual thing. Because you know how people say, you have to fake it until you make it, or the word says a man is what he thinketh. So you need to act and think about the person you want to become before you become that person. I look at this in the same sense as if you try to dumb yourself down or play small, eventually you could very much become small. And I'm speaking from experience, okay? I have been in a relationship with someone who, on paper, we had no business being together. I was way more accomplished than they were, and I'm saying this as humbly as possible because, like I said, on paper, if somebody was doing some type of matchmaking type of situation, they'd be like, oh no, they cannot be together. But, I love that person for who they were. But over time, obviously, not even over time, from the very beginning, looking back, they despised that I was better than them, period. And especially when you're dealing with men, that's just something that's going to happen probably. A lot of men cannot deal with women that are better than them in society's eyes. So the same things that were special and great about me, he despised me for those things. So it was almost like he spiritually and physically took those things away from me for himself. Like he was like pushing me down in a way emotionally through emotional abuse and all types of stuff. So it's like he was pushing me down to bring himself up, and then got to a point in our relationship where he felt like he was too good for me. And it's like, hello, like I've been here since the very beginning. And quite frankly, I was way too good for you. But anyways, I'll speak more about that later. But my whole point of this is saying that you should not dumb yourself down to try to make other people feel comfortable. You're just going to hurt yourself in the end. And especially when I'm talking about these professional environments, a lot of people, you'll notice in the workplace, if you're actually a good person, you're actually diligent, a lot of people are not going to like you because most people are not trying that hard at their jobs. A lot of people are very lazy. They slack off, they don't follow the rules. So if you're someone who's not lazy and you don't slack off and you like to follow the rules, people will not like you. They will not, because you're going to expose the truth about them, and you are a threat. Because ultimately, if you don't play with their games, they look at you as a problem, like, oh, this person actually follows the rules, we don't follow the rules, they could get us in trouble. So that's where the sabotage comes in. That's where they start isolating you. That's the main tactic that these people like to do when they're intimidated by someone. They try to isolate you, and it's also because of jealousy. So once you start to realize this, you need to start planning your exit. Okay, get what you can out of that job, the experience. Make sure you do have a couple positive connections, some alliances, so that when you do leave, you know that you still have someone, maybe if you need a reference or whatever, something like that. But ultimately, your superiors, they're also going to feel like you could potentially take their job. And that's actually probably the main thing. If they feel like you're better than them and that you could potentially take their job, they're not going to like you. They're going to complain about things that are not true. They're going to make up lies about you. They're not going to give you your props. They're going to give you a bad evaluation on purpose. They love the employees that are lazy. They don't do great work. They love those type of employees because they know, like, oh, they're always going to be below me. And that's the thing. When people see that you have the potential to be above them, they're not going to like you. Especially if you're someone, like I said in the beginning, if you treat people like people, you're respectful, but you don't treat them like some demigod, they don't like that either. Because some of these people in high positions of power, they are used to people basically treating them like they're royalty. So if you come to them as if they're a human being, they think that's disrespectful. It's very odd. But simple respect looks like disrespect when they're used to being treated like royalty and like they're like superhuman. So for instance, let's say you have a manager, maybe let's say you're meeting a top executive in your company, or a top manager in your company for the first time. And you say, "Hi, Mr. David, my name is Nella. It's a pleasure to meet you, or it's nice to meet you." And you leave it at that. He's gonna think like, okay, that's weird. All she said was hi and left me alone. But when everybody else is like, "Hi, Mr. David, how are you? Wow, you look so nice today. I love that suit on you, blah, blah, blah." Just doing the whole thing. And they're used to that. And I don't know why people feel like you don't have to do that, guys. You don't. You really don't have to. But if you don't, again, if you're not someone that plays into those games, they're not gonna like you. It's very odd. Like, they need you to kiss their tail for them to feel confident, because they know that they're not really qualified for that position. Unfortunately, that's really what it is. And understand something as well. Although these people might be above you physically in that company or in that business or whatever, spiritually, they know that you have a higher rank. So when you have a higher rank spiritually, their demons recognize you, which is why they immediately will try to subdue you and get you under them, because they go from loving you to obsessing over you, because you might come off as too perfect. Chosen ones, people are like, oh, they're a little too perfect, like, what's wrong with them? You might come off as, being a little too perfect, so they're gonna look to find something wrong with you. So they go from loving you to obsessing over you to despising you. Like I said, because your spiritual ranking is much higher than theirs, and their demons recognize you, which is why they can't stand you. So at the end of the day, when you are chosen, when you're very unique, when you're a triple threat, it doesn't matter where you go, where you work, you will find issues. You will have issues. And some people, they get tired of dealing with it, so they do dumb themselves down. They do shrink themselves. But understand something, like, maybe you're just meant to be in a position, you're meant to be in those high positions. Maybe you're meant to start your own business and be a CEO. Maybe you're meant to be, skipping all the ranks and going straight into management. Maybe that's where you need to be. And it's very much possible. But don't allow these people to cause you to shrink. Your management or whoever, like, their insecurities, don't allow them to cause you to shrink. It's not your fault that you're more talented. Maybe you're wiser. Maybe you have a little more wisdom, a little more intelligence. That's not your fault. I hope you guys found this video to be helpful. And thank you so much for coming to my channel. And I hope I see you guys again soon. Bye.